Destiny 2 has just recorded its lowest player count in the last 4 years. And this is really bad news. Let me give you the exact numbers. In the last 30 days, Destiny 2 has recorded 34,000 players at its low point and 59,000 at its high point, which is both the lowest low point and the lowest high point that Steam has ever recorded for Destiny 2 since its arrival 4 years ago. We're unable to see the exact numbers on Xbox and PlayStation, but we can assume the same trend would follow. And initially, some of you out there watching this might think, well, this is normal, we're at the end of a season, the player base is going to be very low. And while it is true that the population tapers off towards the end of every given season in Destiny 2, it still is very alarming to see it get this low. It's a telltale sign of Bungie's poor management of the game over the last year. Lightfall obviously was received extremely poorly. However, as a player and a content creator, I will say it has had some really good points, but clearly, at least according to these statistics, the good has not outweighed the bad for Lightfall. Thankfully, Bungie is aware of this issue, both due to the statistics showing that the game has a very low population, and to the fact that it has lower player retention, and thirdly, and the most important fact to Bungie at least, is that they missed their revenue mark by 45%, which was recently reported. So Bungie's new vision for the studio has been one that they've made very clear. We need to make Destiny as great as it was during Forsaken and the Taken King. Both of those eras are revered as some of the golden age of Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, and hopefully Bungie can deliver on that promise, because if they don't, the future is looking pretty bleak. If I had to personally diagnose Lightfall's problems, it would boil down to a few big things for me. The first and always the most important element to Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 is the loot. The game is a looter shooter after all. Weapons need to always be interesting any given season, any given expansion. Bungie needs to shower us with new exotics and exciting new armor, but instead it feels like lately we just get weapons and armor that don't really shake up the sandbox at all, making the desire to grind in the game significantly diminished. I know that a lot of you out there watching will share the sentiment. Like if you already have a really good hand cannon that you love using for PvP, and then a new hand cannon comes out of the exact same archetype, in the exact same slot, same RPM, everything, but it just has worse perks, why on earth would you ever grind for that? Why on earth would you put in the effort and time to get the god roll of that weapon? Especially when the roll you have is probably a crafted roll. You didn't have to grind for anything except the frames and the materials. The loot is easily the biggest problem in my opinion, and if Bungie can fix that and actually give us some really enticing loot with the final shape, I think that they can steer this ship in the right direction. The next biggest issue that I think is plaguing Bungie, and the reason why Destiny 2 is losing player retention and player population, is honestly from its GDC conference where they talked about over delivery. They said that they wanted to focus on velocity and not so much on quality, and they didn't want to create trends of over delivery, which in hindsight now meant that they effectively wanted to give us as little as possible and see how much we would buy the expansion still, giving us fewer and fewer exotics every single season, to the point where we're getting almost next to nothing now. It's almost like Bungie has had this weird experiment where they're trying to see how low they can bring the bar and still get players to actually buy the game. And unfortunately for them, it has now backfired because they've lowered the bar too low. People are just not interested in buying the game as much. And the final shape pre-orders are currently very much down. If Bungie wants to get the players back, it's so simple. Give us a final shape trailer showing off some of the crazy weapons and craziest armor we've ever seen, and instantly you will have us hooked. And the last issue that I would cover in regards to Bungie's biggest problems with Lightfall is the narrative. Now, I myself am not a huge lore nerd. I don't follow with all of the lore in the game, but just being a general player, you talk about these things and you hear about the story, and Destiny 2 has always had kind of like a mysterious story to it. It was never really that appealing to me, but I think a common element to any mysterious story is, of course, the ending. I myself, like many others, want to see how this crazy story ends. We want all the little pieces to fall into place and make sense, and Lightfall delivered nothing of the sort, but hopefully Final Shape can deliver where Lightfall failed. Bungie is clearly trying their best to make that happen. Let me know what you think about this situation down in the comments below, and click on the screen here to watch another video from this channel. Like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later. And if you're feeling thirsty out there, make sure to use code LUCKY10P to save some money on G Fuel. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitch and Kick. I go live all the time playing Destiny 2. Lastly, make sure you're following me on X, Instagram, and TikTok, where I deliver Destiny 2 news to you daily. I appreciate all the followers out there.